Well, I'm doing the Golden Globe race because it's a bit of a challenge and I love challenges. I fell in love with the concept of the race. As you may know, this race is a retro race which revives all the skills from the ancient mariners. Guys like in the 50s, 60s were using sextants, using their feeling to navigate around this world. So in a way, for me, it's back to the roots. I started sailing as a kid, and I was fortunate enough to have that passion in my family. My father was racing sailboat already when I was quite young, and the first boat I got was an Optimist. Many kids, even today, race Optimist for their first boat. And I clearly remember my first boat. Her name was Cyrus. It was a plywood Optimist. And as a matter of fact, the person that sold us that boat still is alive and is still a friend, Christian Kidu. And I started, I was probably 8 years old, and I fell in love with the sport. My father racing, I kind of followed his footsteps. I raced with him for many years. I raced on his boat with his friends, and as a kid, I was always like the little mascot around. And I grew up obviously through the sport, started to race by myself with other people, and ended up, being a passion. And now here I am. This will probably be my consecration, if I may say. Wow, I haven't thought about this one. My favorite song, there's quite a few. The first one that comes to my mind is probably by the group Muse, and which I really like. Then I also like the French song like Barbara, like L'Aigle Noir de Barbara. That's one of my favorites. As far as my book, well, there's so many. The one that comes to mind is Joshua Socklom and his voyage around the world. Then the one that I'm reading now is about meditation. That's one that is important for me because I'm starting to get used to meditate and I need all that help. And I guess my favorite movie, well, maybe something that is called L'étoffe des héros in French. I don't know the title in English, but The Right Stuff. Well done. I kind of like that kind of era, and in a way I'm embarking in something that is a little bit similar, breaking boundaries and in a way taking risk, which I like. My most exciting memory in sailing is probably sailing in the Southern Ocean. I've been lucky enough to be there a couple of times, 3 times around the world on big cats. And the first time was on Team Adventure, which it was during a race called The Race. And we were screaming down in the Southern Ocean, flying one hull, no horizon, in the mist, and finding that fine line where you're a little bit too high and a bit in the danger zone, or a little bit too low where the main hull or the center hull, or sorry, the weather hull is in the water and you're slowing down. I really love that edge. That's something that is kind of stuck into my feelings. And of course, there's plenty of other memories, but this one is quite special because that was also the first one for me. Where will be the most grueling part will definitely be in the south, where with this type of boats where you go slow, which is not something that I've been exposed so far. All my experience is going fast through the water. This will be very slow for me. And there is risk in going slow. All the systems catch up with you. You get run over by big waves. So unfortunately, it is something that I have to prepare myself for. So throughout my preparation, I will work that part that I'm quite exposed to yet. And I will go up north, maybe try to find some bad weather and try to use or know how to use a drug, try to control a boat without sails, a boat that can eventually roll and survive from a roll. I hope I won't roll, but you never know, you got to be prepared. So preparation is the key thing for such adventure. Yes, I have experienced real fear. Unfortunately, I fell off in the boat. I wasn't by myself, lucky enough, but I fell over in the water. Unfortunately, I wasn't clipped, and I had no life jackets or nothing, and I got scared. The only thing that saved me, I must say, was that I had faith. I had faith in my colleagues. I had faith in the people on the boat. And we talked about a man overboard procedure before, and as I was in the water, I could see them doing all the drills and all the maneuvers to come back to me. So that gave me faith, and that gave me the strength to stay afloat in the water. I took my boots off, I put them under my arms basically to float and to help floating. And about 15 minutes later, which you know, seems a long time when you're in the water, they came back and picked me up. But yeah, I was scared. By entering the race, what I'm looking for is showing myself, but also my friends and family, that it is possible, and people, everybody, that it is possible to go back to simple things, to fulfill your dreams on a small boat. It's not a huge campaign. It is a big campaign because you need to prepare, but it is something that is achievable by some common people. I'm not a superstar, and going back to simple thing, to the roots of sailing, there's not much expense to do that. You know, it's back to common sense, back to something that is, of course, physically engaging, but it is rewarding, and that's what I'm looking for in that race, to get that feedback and that sense of freedom through achieving something that is kind of by myself with the element, without too much modern help in a way. What I will miss most at sea is obviously family, friends and family. Obviously the contact is a key thing, and that's something that I've got to work on. I'll be at sea for probably 9 months, so it is a super long period to be alone. But through training, through a process, through preparation, again, I will try to survive that grueling moments and those moments where I'll be missing my friends and family, of course. Yes, I think this experience will change me. It certainly will affect my way of seeing life. I've never been that long at sea. I've never been that long away from family and friends. So yes, it will have an impact. It's probably starting to have an impact because the race is in 1 year, but I've been thinking, building up the project for the last 2 years already. So since day one, I've been involved 200% in that race. And of course it has changed me because I have to format myself to finance this campaign, to find the support, to organize all of the future for me. So yes, it has changed, and it will change even furthermore. We'll see when I get back though. Well, I've chosen a Rustler 36, the yacht that I have for the Golden Globe race, because it is the best boat available. There's a very tight or very short list of available boats and that fits within the rules that the organization has described. And to me, the lines of a boat are important. The boat has to look not only pretty, but look fast. It is important to me to have a sleek looking boat. I also wanted a tiller driven boat because I love driving the boat, and for me a tiller is a nice thing. In a way, the Rustler is probably one of the best built boats, and I was lucky enough to find one early in my program, which we refitted completely, and we turned a sand boat into a great machine. So I'm really pleased to have chosen that boat, and Gregal is my companion and will be my companion for that whole race. Well, the way we changed the boat, we didn't change the boat much, to be honest. What we did is, well, we started by stripping the boat completely. This way we knew, or we learned what we had. We discovered that the boat was really well built. We knew that, but you need to know by yourself. What we replaced were all the important parts, like the chain plates. We changed all the deck gear. Every part that has an incidence or that is structurally important. We also added a bulkhead, a watertight bulkhead. We changed all the tanks. We changed the galley. We did little mods that are making the boat safer and most probably easier for a single person to live in. These boats were obviously designed for cruising, for family cruising. Sure, blue water cruising, but still, for solo sailing, we have to adapt a little bit. So I made sure that the boat has a single bunk. I've made the aft bunk a single bunk, a little bit narrower, so I'm not thrown around. We built a proper foul weather gear or dry locker, so I can put my wet gear to dry and get warm. So in a way, little things, but things that will add up to the comfort, more especially down south where it's cold and miserable. Indeed, the Sexton is an unbelievable story. I was very fortunate to find a friend that offered me a Sexton. It was his own personal Sexton. The Sexton that he offered, or as a loan, is about 50 years old, and it is in a unique, beautiful condition. And the friend presented it to me at a prize giving at a race. I was racing in Thailand, and this person at the prize giving came up as a complete surprise with a box, called me up on stage and said in front of everybody, about 200 people, I've got a present for you, Philippe, and in your new adventure, this will guide you through the stars. And I felt this really, emotional, and it was such a beautiful story. And this friend is Peter Wood from Ireland, and I will make sure that I'll return that Sexton to him after the race. And we have a bit of a deal. If he asked me how many days, and I said to him, well, I will try to do 275 days. And he said to me, if you do 274 days, I'll give you the Sexton. That will be my prize. If you do more than 275, it's back to me. So it is a great story. Ooh, the last time I cried. Well, let me think about it a little bit. I'm not too sure, to be honest. obviously don't cry that often, but well, it would probably have been when I lost my brother, and that's about 30 years ago now. It was obviously intense and so emotional, and yeah, that's obviously I still think about him. He's with me, you know, following all my adventure. I know he's up there, and so yeah, that's probably my deeper, stronger feeling of sad memories, and yeah, that's the first, my first thoughts when you ask me last time I cried. The Southern Ocean, well, I'm fortunate enough to have been there 3 times, so I've got a little bit of a feeling what to expect. Obviously, what I don't know is how I will manage by myself, because I've always been with a group, with other people, and so it is something that I will have to experience by myself, and that's probably why I'm going there by myself and doing that race. What I will expect is, well, it's beautiful scenery, but it's moist, a lot of wet times, a lot of mist, a lot of damp and cold times. There will be moments with fronts going over fronts, so you're not always in control. The beautiful things is obviously the big swell, the long waves, and the birds, of course. So the albatross are something that is magic. Unfortunately, with slow boats, they won't stay around with us too long, because you know they've got to move on, and they won't wait for me. But I will be happy to see them and wave them goodbye, actually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to go there.
And when you pass the Cape Horn?
Well, it's a mixed feeling when you get to Cape Horn. I've been there 3 times, and each time you've got a sense of finished. For some reason, it's that weird, strange feeling that it's achieved, it's finished, but it's not. There's such a long way up, and even on fast boat, you know, it's still, we're not there yet. Even though you've sort of, you know, come back to some land, and you know, the Pacific was quite unique and quite grueling, and you're back to some civilization of back to the Atlantic, and it's kind of a mixed feeling. You know you're there, but you're not there yet, and that's something to respect, and something you have to not let go yet, which is a common mistake not to make. You still have to be focused, don't let go. You know, there's still a long way to finish. At the finishing line, there'll be family, there'll be friends, it'll be such a great moment. My wife, hopefully my daughters, and friends, of course. My dad will be there, most probably my mom. So it'll be such a reunion with my little world, you know, with all everything that I've left behind in a way. So it'll be a very joyful moment for sure.